Hello everybody and welcome to another list video at Playing Board Games. Today I have 5 Arkham Horror custom content that you need to try. The custom content community in this game is absolutely incredible and they continue to just push out banger after banger. And if you're ever getting bored of the content you're playing in your game, or you just want to try some new stuff, custom content is the way to do it. I have links down in the description for all 5 of the custom content I'm going to be talking about today. So why don't we dive in with the first one, which is our actual only full campaign in this video that I'm recommending today. And that is Call of the Plaguebearer, designed by Dr. Jack Science. So this is a custom campaign that is, it's not zombie themed, but it's inspired by Resident Evil. It also has a lot of Reanimator in there as well, and it does a really good job of also just making Arkham the home of a campaign. Which is something that I particularly love, because my love for this game started because of Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. I loved the idea of exploring Arkham proper and, monsters showing up, gates appearing, things coming out of the gates. It's just a really fun gameplay fantasy that I've always liked. So anytime that I get a scenario that takes place in Arkham, I enjoy it because it reminds me of the board game. Clutches of Chaos notwithstanding. But we have, Threads of Fate and Midnight Masks, 2 great Arkham-based scenarios. And this campaign has a bunch of Arkham. It really makes Arkham shine as a home. So the theme is very fun for this one. It's also not super sci-fi, even though, as I said, it's inspired by Resident Evil, but it covers it in a way that is very much Arkham Horror, which I think is a really good accomplishment from the creator. It also has a very interesting campaign structure that allows you to see your progress through the campaign. This one, as you can see from the next point, a lot of great design to be discovered on replay. Actually, we're going to skip 2 points. I'll get back to that one. There's awesome replayability, and that's because little choices that you make throughout the campaign, in terms of choices within the gameplay itself, not actually choices within the campaign guide, choices within the scenarios can impact future scenarios, which is really cool. It also has an interesting structure where it's 2 halves of a campaign that you're alternating between, which I think is really nice. It's kind of fun to be able to have, okay, here is campaign A and here's campaign B, but it all flows within one campaign. But it means that you never get bored, because even though you're playing certain aspects of this game campaign quite frequently, it never gets samey because it's constantly changing and updating. A lot of the custom designers that I've talked to, this campaign is like a designer's, it's like your favorite designer's favorite custom campaign. It's really clever, and that's where I talk about a lot of great design to be discovered on replays. I'm actually replaying this right now on Patreon with some patrons, and there's a lot that I really appreciate and see in the design of this campaign that's kind of emergent, and this is my 4th time playing it, and I'm still finding and discovering new things and seeing design that I'm respecting and being wow, this is actually really damn good. So it's also really fun, and it's awesomely, and the replayability is very awesome. It's nice to see the fun changes. The story itself is very good. However, with all that said, some designs may be a bit sticky to some players. I'm going to be completely honest. This is the only campaign that I actually ever rage quit in the final scenario. However, a lot of that was due to myself as well, but there are some designs that I've heard from other people that have been sticking points for players. They have not been able to move past it, or they do not, enjoy those aspects of the design, and I think that's very fair and just something I should point out for it. However, Call of the Plaguebearer is a very, very, very good custom campaign, and if you're looking for another custom campaign and by chance you haven't played Call of the Plaguebearer, because it is, especially in the earlier days, it was one of the big 3. Alice in Wonderland, Dark Matter, Call of the Plaguebearer. Those were the big 3 custom campaigns, at least back when I was first starting to get into custom content. So if you haven't played Call of the Plaguebearer by now, I highly recommend that you should. Moving on to the next one, we got, one second, I'm going to do some time codes. I probably should be a good content creator as opposed to a bad content creator. We got Hellboy Custom Investigators. So these were designed by Beard, who is the designer of Alice in Wonderland, the campaign that I just talked about. I'll be honest, Beard has a lot of great custom content. I wanted to include more than one of it in this video because I was like, there's still a lot that Beard has out there, but I do want to only include one from each designer. So there's going to be, when I do the third iteration of this, get ready because there's going to be another Beard creation there. But for this one, I chose the Hellboy Custom Investigators for Beard because these are really fun, really cool custom investigators. The designs are fun, the designs are flavorful, and they really explore the characters and like the idea behind the characters. There are 6 of them. There is 1 of each color and 2 rogues, an additional rogue on top of that, and they're all very fun. Hellboy himself, I actually have not played Hellboy the actual investigator. I've played 4 of the 6 investigators so far, but Hellboy plays with Doom, which means that there is a lot of potential within the Scarlet Keys for me to explore and try that out, which I'm very excited to do, and you might also do it. But also the Johann Kraus and Abe Sapien here were 2 really fun investigators that I played. Abe Sapien, in particular, was an investigator that I had a really fun time playing. He might have changed since I did play him in the video that I played him in, but he has a very intriguing play style, which I really enjoyed doing. Also, in addition, Hellboy is obviously not the official Arkham Files investigators. However, the theme can work very well within Arkham Files. There's a lot of awesome custom investigators out there, but I can see some people not wanting to play, I don't know, like Master Chief, right? And while there's nothing wrong with Master Chief as a custom investigator, I do think a nice perk about these ones is while being very fantasy, they also feel as if they kind of fit within the general theme. They're like adjacent to what the Arkham Files is. And they're honestly just like damn cool. The art's great, you know? Mike Mignola is a great artist. And like the characters are, it just, all of it's just really sick. So I highly suggest you check this one out as well. Moving on, we got number 3. This is a standalone. So standalones don't have too much to say about them, but this is the Against the Wendigo standalone by VinQuest, the designer. I played this one actually quite recently, and it's very good. It's a flavorful standalone set in Canada's far northwest, and I might be particularly biased because I live in the western side of Canada, but the locale and like the environment is my favorite. It's my personal favorite like feeling. This gives you like the idea of like when I first played Skyrim and I was walking towards Whiterun and you're just like walking across the rivers with the mountains all around you. This gives you that vibe in this campaign. It's also why I particularly like the Alaska scenario too from Scarlet Keys, because I love the like environment for this. Mountains, trees, rivers, yes please. I mean, I'm lucky that I've grown up near my favorite environment, but if you haven't and you kind of like that vibe, this is like chef's kiss, just absolutely a beautiful like locale for a setting. The story is neat. I think the story is really neat. It's a really great setup, and you get to see it evolve throughout the scenario. And this is where my second point for this one is the storyline feels, the scenario feels particularly epic in its scope, which makes for a great standalone experience. The best standalones, I think, tell like a big, complete, evolving story without being too overwhelming. And I actually think that this one is challenging, but it's not mechanically that overwhelming and dense. There's a lot of small things that can add up as it goes. But at no point was I overwhelmed by the mechanics of the scenario. It also has a great conclusion with varying degrees of success that can change from one play to the next to see how much you can accomplish. It kind of also has like some internal scoring metrics while not actually giving you like points or experience or anything like that. I mean, it might give you experience, I don't know. But it doesn't like give you points within it to tell you how good you did. It gives you like milestones that you can hit so you can replay and try to do better. It also has a great conclusion that maybe was just due to the team comp we had, but it felt very Arkham Horror 2nd edition, where this is a thing that is so impossibly hard to imagine accomplishing. So I think we just need to run. And I think that's a great conclusion. And there are also maybe some issues with wording on cards to translation. This was translated from French, I believe. And also, like, some of the language on the card is older in terms of what you would see on other custom content creations due to the fact that this was made earlier on in Arkham Horror's lifespan. So yeah, against the Wendigo standalone, great custom standalone right there. Moving on here, we got the Falling For You player expansion. So this is actually a player expansion that I recently covered on the channel. This is designed by Robin. This is a full player expansion with investigators and player cards. So it's a lot of juice. So in the last video, I had Buffy for a custom player card expansion. And it was investigators and players. And this is the same thing. So like investigators and player cards. And this is the same. So you get a lot of cards within this expansion. This is also, personally, probably my favorite design I've seen from player cards. There's a lot of stuff in there that was particularly clever, and there were only a few instances of me looking at a card being like, well, this is broken, you know? But overall, the cards themselves were really fun and intriguing, and some just made me go, aha, I can't wait to play with that, which I think is just like a good metric for player cards, right? Like if a player card makes you go, man, I wish I had this printed in paper so I could play with it in paper, that's a sign that this is like a winning expansion. Like one day I hope to print a lot of player expansions, these custom ones, myself in paper, like when they're fully finalized and had some time to like gestate and maybe even after a taboo, like they're like, oh, I actually need to change this. But if I had to print one first, it probably would be the Falling For You player expansion. They also, this brings in a new keyword that it also explores quite in interesting ways as it goes. A big thing is that the cards feel like a cohesive set of player cards. This is helped because of the art. While the art is AI generated, it provides a good connection. So you can see like on these cards here, they kind of feel as if they're like from the same sort of vibe. However, I do know some people have a sticking point with AI art. But I mean, I think for like a not-for-profit player card expansion, AI art seems like a great way to go. But I do understand and respect that some people might not like that. Professor Wallace was probably one of my favorite cards on this one. So you should check out the video. I have a link to my showcase of it in the description. On to our last custom thing to check out. This is the City of Secrets Custom Investigators designed by Aug, who is the designer of the Bloodborne expansion campaign that you might know. This brings 10 custom investigators to play with, and each one of the investigators is based on a different Ravnica guild. If you don't know what Ravnica is, it's from Magic the Gathering, and each one of them took inspiration from one of these Ravnica guilds. So they each have different flavors. They come in like and abilities that come off of it to be the inspiration. I covered this on Tuesday on my channel. I actually did all of these, and it might seem a bit strange for me to cover this again so quickly. Well, number one, you might not have watched the video on Tuesday because not everyone watches those kinds of videos, but a lot of people watch our list videos. So, you know, I'd love to point your attention to this if you're interested. And number two, it's because it's been a few weeks since I actually recorded the videos that just went live. However, this one has kind of been stuck in me. I've really been into the 10 designs for these custom investigators. There's a lot that I've kind of just see myself thinking about as I'm sitting in my room, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to do something with that investigator, which is actually something that has not happened for me before with custom content. The investigators themselves are engaging, they're interesting, and I think that there's like a lot of little play styles and treats to discover within these player cards that I think that there is at least something for everybody. There's going to be that investigator that makes you go, I need to play this, because it's happened to me with most of these investigators where I'm like, your design is so neat, and it's so it can be a little bit like pushed to it, and it's just like I need to go for that. What helps as well is that the art choices that Aug chose for all of these, or Aug, I actually don't know how to say it. It's just a declaration of pain, as how I read it. But the art choices that Aug chose for all these was super awesome. And they really feel connected as well. Just like how Falling for You feels connected, I think that these feel like a really cool city that I wouldn't want to live in. Well, actually, maybe I want to live in it. But it seems like it's a living, breathing world that Aug was able to create. However, there is something that is about it. It's just that some of the designs I think some of the designs might be a little bit strong in some cases, but I need to playtest them. However, with that also said, some of the designs can be pretty specific. I don't go too far to say is that some of them are over wordy or anything like that, but some of the designs might push you to like the one thing they do. But that also could just be me as like a pretty basic player going, and like someone like Bryn might see more in it than I would, for example. But that's just that's just me like nitpicking, because I do think that this is a really good set of investigators. And I think you should check them out. Again, I have a link to all of this down in the description. You can check it out, as well as videos on our channel that you can see where I'm diving into some of it further. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I haven't done one of these since January, so I'll probably do another one in a few months where I'll showcase more custom content, because there is a lot of amazing stuff out there. There's also a lot of custom content that I still need to play. I'm falling behind because the Arkham Gauntlet has been eating up a lot of my time. However, more custom campaigns will return to the channel in the near future, but in the meantime, have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.